In this video, we're going to take a look at how to find the midpoint. And what midpoint is just what it sounds like. It's the point that's halfway between one point and another point. So let's say we have a number line, and the number line is going from -2, let's go -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's as much as I have space for on the number line. And I want to know the distance between two very important points. Let's say one point is Chipotle and the other point is my home. All right, so I want to find the distance between these 2 points. Well, all I have to do in this case is average those numbers. So the midpoint, let's call it M, is x1 plus x2. There are 2 numbers there, so we divide by the number of numbers, which is 2, and we get our midpoint. So it's just an average. So -1 plus 3 over 2, in this case would give you 2 over 2, which would actually give you 1, which makes sense, right? That's the halfway point between A and B. It looks like it. There's 2 over here and 2 over here. All right, but I'm sure you want to take this up a notch and look at how to find the midpoint in a coordinate plane. Okay, so in this example, we're being asked to find the midpoint of a segment that extends from 1, 2 to 6, 4. So the best thing when you see a question with no diagram is to actually draw a diagram, just so you can visualize it. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to see what's going on. So that's 1, 2 right there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the other point would be somewhere over here. So just being able to see it would tell you if you're completely off base. So if you got the answer to be 10 comma something, well, there's no way halfway of, between here and here is going to be over here. So it's good to be able to see it. All right, now that said, when we were finding the midpoint on a number line, we just averaged those x values. We do the same thing here, but now we don't just have x coordinates, we have x and y coordinates. So we have to average them both. So the midpoint is going to be the average of the x coordinates, so x1 plus x2 over 2, as well as the average of the y coordinates, so y1 plus y2 over 2. So that will give you your x coordinate and your y coordinate. So let's check it out and see if this works. So in this example, we have, let's name more points. Let's call that x1, y1, x2, y2. Doesn't matter which is x1 or which is x2 as long as you keep it consistent. So by consistent, I mean you can't mix x1 up with y2. That makes no sense. All right, now that we're good with that, let's plug in. So we have x1, which is 1, 1 plus x2, which is 6 over 2, comma, y1, which is 2, plus y2, which is 4 over 2. Now we can go ahead and simplify that. Make sure that if you're plugging into your calculator, these things go in parentheses. Otherwise, your calculator will interpret it incorrectly and give you the wrong answer. All right, so here we have 7 over 2, comma, 6 over 2, and we can simplify that if we like to get 3.5, or you can leave it as 7 over 2, comma, 3. And then now, since we have a diagram, we can check to see if that makes sense. So we can go to 3.5, which is 7 over 2, which is here, and up to 3, which is here, and so that hits about there, and that does look like it could be right, and it is, and we're done.